Today I'm going to be talking about gun ownership in the United States. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about being a gun owner in the United States, my experience with guns, and why guns should be allowed in the United States. Being a gun owner in the United States has always been an important part of citizenship ever since this country was created. The original intention of adding a gun ownership law to the Constitution was to allow citizens to protect themselves from the government if it were to become too powerful. According to the Congressional Research Service, there are over 300 million guns in the United States. That's over 112 guns per 100 United States citizens. Gun ownership has continually been on the rise for decades, and the firearms are a fun hobby and are safe to use with proper instruction and training. There are tons of safe things to do with guns, like hunting, competition shooting, or shooting for leisure. Guns have a lot more uses than people think they are. They're not just for causing crime or for hurting others. They can also be a hobby. There are plenty of firearm stores and gun ranges willing to help people get into this hobby if they want to, and they're all over the place. My experience with guns started out a little bit differently than I believe most people's does. Mine started out the beginning of high school when I joined my local Sheriff's Explorer program and began training with the Sheriff's Department in Livingston County. We would go out to their private range and shoot their firearms, and they would teach us how to safely use them and just firearm safety instruction and how to clean and disassemble them, all sorts of things. I recently, last year, more recently, I convinced my dad to get into the firearms hobby with me, and we purchased our first handguns. Ever since then, I built a backstop in my backyard for shooting at, and we began shooting our 22 caliber firearms in the back. We've got a couple rifles and a handgun. And I've been inviting my friends over to shoot, and I've been teaching them how to use firearms for the ones that haven't had them before, and it's been a really good experience. Firearms teach responsibility in everyone. You have to be a responsible person in order to handle firearms, so it's a really good thing to get into and to if you want to learn a bit of responsibility and how to care for something dangerous. Because they are dangerous. It's just they don't have to be dangerous if you treat them correctly. Firearms should be allowed in the United States because it is a protected right and freedom of the Second Amendment, like I said previously. It's important to maintain this right to bear arms because, like I said, it's important that if the government becomes too strong, that you are able to defend yourself against the government, or personally to just defend yourself and your family against anybody that may be trying to hurt them, say like in a robbery or something like that. There's a lot of classes you can take, usually at gun ranges or out of personal establishments where you can increase your gun skills. There's marksmanship classes at gun ranges. There's CPL classes, which is to get your concealed pistol license so that you can carry your firearm under a shirt or coat with you at all times. The firearms laws weren't just created to protect us from our own government, but also from that of our enemies. The United States citizens are the biggest. The gun-owning United States citizens are the biggest militia that we have in the United States. They're bigger than our actual army, seeing as there's 300 million guns in the United States. But guns aren't only used for defense. They're also just plain fun. Like I detailed before, anyone can get into the firearms hobby and just go out and shoot targets for fun. And that's really one of the best things about firearm sports. Just to recap, I talked about being a gun owner in the United States, my personal experience with guns, and why guns should be allowed in the United States. and I hope that you learned something new. A lot of you probably don't know a whole lot about owning firearms, and I hope that maybe I changed your opinion a little bit, if I could. Anyway, thanks for watching my video, and thank you for listening.